Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Juleen Meets Wines, where I share a glass of wine with you and give my thoughts on that wine. This week, I'll actually be reviewing my first bottle of red wine of the series, and to be honest, I don't typically like red wines. If you ever ask, I'll usually say white wine over red wine any day, week, hour, minute, you get the point. So it's not normal for me to have red wines on my wine rack. And if I do, it's usually at most one. So I've been pretty surprised every time I looked at my wine rack over the last month and seen not one, but 2 bottles of red wine on my wine rack. I don't usually like the drying feeling that's left in my mouth after trying red wines. So I've been doing some investigation and I've come to learn that it's because the wine is probably high in tannins, or I might just be drinking bad red wine. So this year, I've committed to trying to explore the world of red wine more, and hopefully I can find a red grape variety that I really like. So if you're not a red wine person as well, I encourage you to come along this journey with me, and hopefully, maybe, you can find a red wine that you like as well. And if you do, you can always say Juleen inspired you, and you're welcome. This week, I'll actually be reviewing this bottle of Chambourcin-Merlot, which is actually produced by the Boordy Vineyards. And the Boordy Vineyards is a Maryland vineyards, so that's pretty cool because as someone who is based in Maryland at the moment, even though I didn't buy this specific bottle directly from the vineyards, it's good to know that if I do like it, I can always go directly to the source and see where it's being produced and possibly even get more if I desire. It's supposed to be a sweet wine according to this label, and so I'm hopeful because of all the red wines I've tried, I've probably only liked maybe 3, and those 3 wines were all sweet on the sweeter side, so I'm hopeful that I might like this one as well. It is about 61% Chambourcin and about 39% Merlot, with Merlot usually producing dry red wines, while Chambourcin might produce either dry or something on the sweeter side. So I'm guessing the sweetness of this wine is probably going to be coming from the latter of those 2 grapes. So I'm going to go ahead and give this wine a try. So I've got my glass of wine. Hopefully you do too. Preferably a glass of red wine because that's the journey we're on today. So let's take a look at this wine, the color of this wine. So it definitely has a deep color, somewhere between purple and ruby. I'd say maybe a little bit more on the ruby side because as you look through where the light is going through more towards the stem, it has somewhat of like an orange-ish hue in there. At least that's how I differentiate between ruby and purple. Smells like cherries. Like just grab a handful of cherries. It's really a nice sweet smell. So hopefully it's actually sweet. Let's give this baby a taste. Okay. Nice. Wow. I'm so anytime I find a red wine that I'm not annoyed by, I'm surprised. Yeah. So this is definitely on the sweeter side, but at the same time it doesn't taste like cake or something. It's not like really sweet. But if you like dry wines, this would definitely not be for you because to you this might taste more like a dessert wine because it's sweet. But if you like semi-sweet or sweet wines, I definitely recommend this one. It does taste like cherries. Yeah, it does taste like cherries. It's not, the thing I like is that it does not have that drying after feeling that I dislike with red wines. So yeah, I am happy. Let me give you a better look at the color. Another look at the color. See what you can see. So yeah, it does have a deep color. Huh. I am happy. Huh. Ooh. I'm happy because it's such a Maryland vineyard, I can always just go there and try out more of their wines. Yes. It tastes like a mixture of I don't want to say this, but it tastes like a mixture of cherry and grapes. That's what it tastes like. It is not a full-bodied wine. I wouldn't describe it as a full-bodied wine, but I like it, and it's not very high in tannins and not very acidic either, but there is some acidity in there as well. And as I said, it's definitely somewhere between semi-sweet and sweet. So to wrap up, I got this bottle of wine from a local wine store, but if you're based in Maryland, I'd recommend just going to the vineyard since it's a Maryland-based vineyard. And I mean, this is under $20. I believe it's under $15 or about $15 depending on where you buy it. But yeah, it's also affordable. And it's a nice red wine. I know I've said that a couple times, but I'm sure if you didn't like red wines like I don't like red wines, you'd feel the same way. There you have it for this week. I am actually going to be giving it a couple more tries throughout the week just to make sure I do like it, because that is how surprised I feel anytime I like a red wine. But be sure to check out next week's episode because I have a really exciting wine tasting for you next week. I have been making wine over the last 3 weeks, and as of this weekend, it's supposed to be ready. So for next week's episode, I'll be tasting the first wine that I made. So be sure to check that out next week and have a good rest of your week.